power cycle, and I don't know why. But I ordered one. It's just coming next Tuesday, so we're going to have to deal with it for a few more streams. Anyway, I guess that was a good cutoff. It cut off right at the end of NA, so now we'll do Europe. Before we get into Europe, I was just talking about how this is why you don't trust pros when they talk about roster moves in general. One, because sometimes it's that third man out that is talking about the roster moves, like we saw with Ignite. I think we saw that where he's like, yeah, there's not going to be any roster moves, and then he's the one that's kicked, right? So he's obviously not going to know that. Or pros will just lie to cover their asses, like Justin with Turbo Pulsa, where it's like, it's an NA player, and everyone's like, guys, it's not Turbo because Justin said this. It's like, guys, don't believe anything the pros say. Wait till you see like official org announcements, or hell, even wait till the RLCS roster lock date, which is why I was contemplating not even making this video, because it's not roster lock yet. Who knows when that is, so who knows? But for now, here's what the roster moves are. So that is why you don't trust anybody. Just don't trust anybody. And this is why when people are like, oh, I hate the subreddit because they just speculate. It's like, that's your job. Your job is to speculate, because don't trust anybody. That's how it works. All right. I thought he had a stroke. That's funny. I'm not sure exactly where it cut off, but that's fine. Let's go over to Europe where... So I get off the boat in Bermuda. I was like, oh, I'll just check a couple things. And I'm like, oh, DreamHack Montreal got announced. Cool. Oh, my God. So much drama with Triple Trouble. And now Triple Trouble is gone. So let's talk about them first. Technically, in the rule book for the RLCS, it does not say that the third place team from promotion tournament moves up. That is just what is expected. But that could not happen. Who knows? But for now, we'll pretend like it is. And we got Veloce moving up. Right now, it shows that Flame, Freaky, Niels Cook, and Tylacto. But as people have been rumoring, it looks like Casio is joining Veloce. It doesn't look like that's official yet. I'm not positive. For Niels Cook. So let's talk about that move first. Let's talk about all the Triple Trouble drama that happened. So you have Ronniekey and Tadpole decide to try out new thirds for Casio. So they boot Casio, like, hey, we're trying out new thirds. We think we can be better with someone else. Which, again, like, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, you want to try out new players. You want to get better. That's fine. Whatever. And I get it. Like, people are going to be like, well, they made the world championship, yada, yada. Still. Like, I don't mind when teams try and improve. That's fine. Then Ronniekey gets an offer from Barcelona because it looks like Alpha left Barcelona to join TSM. I'm not sure if that's a kick or a leave. I'm going to guess it's a leave because I think Alpha... You don't kick Alpha from Barcelona. That's for sure. But we'll get back to him in a second. So Alpha leaves, so Barcelona needs a spot. So they go with Ronniekey. Personally, I think Tadpole was the MVP of that team throughout the season. I felt like with Triple Trouble, like it was kind of weird, right? Where like at the start of the season, it really did feel like that everyone on that team, including Tadpole, thought Tadpole was the third best on that squad. Because he was playing extremely passive, letting the other two do their thing. And he didn't really do as much. Ronniekey was not shooting that well at the start. Casio was a little bit off. And then Tadpole really woke up, and that's when Triple Trouble became a World Championship team. And I do think Tadpole was a major reason for that. So we'll see how this move works for Barcelona. For the Barcelona move, for Ronniekey, for Barcelona themselves, I say that's a major downgrade, but that's because Alpha is Alpha. That's nothing against Ronniekey. We'll see how they do. But for Ronniekey, completely understandable. You do not have an org. You haven't signed an org, even when you made the World Championship. And a team that has an org that wants to give you a salary, they approach you, you absolutely take that. That's outside of all the other drama with him owing Tadpole money, yada, 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 and all that stuff. Whatever. Like, obviously, there was some bad blood there throughout the time on Triple Trouble. I don't care about any of that. When you're a team that does not have an org and you have very limited time to be a pro in Rocket League, and then a team like Barcelona is like, hey, we want you, you go for that move. I don't care who you are. So Ronniekey, that's fine. I don't mind that move whatsoever. Then Tadpole's like, hey, Casio, what's up, buddy? Love you, man. Want to come back? And Cassio's like, nah, man, I'm going to do the ultimate fuck you. and join Veloce, who will now take your spot, presumably. And so Tadpole is out. He's just out. Which now, again, for Veloce, personally, I think Tadpole was a better player than Cassio last season. If Veloce could do the double fuck you, be like, you know what, Cassio, we like you and all, but if Tadpole's available, we should try him out too, right? That's very possible that could still happen. Who knows? But this move, I don't mind the move by Cassio. It comes down to who do you think is better? Do you take a player from Veloce? Do you take Flame and put him with Tadpole? Or do you take Freaky and play with him? It's basically Freaky or Tadpole, right? Presuming that you would want Flame. Now, who knows if that's what the pros think. Personally, I think Flame is great. So we're just going to say that, right? It's who do you want to team with Flame? Do you want to team with Tadpole or do you want to team with Freaky? So Cassio basically had that choice. And he's choosing Freaky over Tadpole. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if they are in the RLCS. And that team, we'll see. Flame has not had the greatest luck trying to join the RLCS or when he's in the RLCS, but they can make some noise for sure. So we'll see how that goes. I think I would still probably put them in the bottom two personally, or maybe Barcelona in the bottom two. But yeah, we'll go back to them in a little bit. Maybe we'll rank them at the end. So that was the move there with Triple Trouble. So Tadpole right now is on the outside looking in. Move over to the Bricks. Not that much going on here. Basically, speeding a lot. They have this bromance going, and they played, what was it, DreamHack Dallas, then for Mouse Sports with Speed. Now, DreamHack Valencia. I can't remember which one was which. It's been a long time. Yeah, then DreamHack Valencia. Speed's hey, come join us a lot. So for 3 seasons now, or 2 seasons in a row, a lot is probably going to avoid the rival series, which is fantastic for him, and move back up into the RLCS. Now, this one is definitely warranted. Last season, I was very against the Mouse Sports move, where I was like, you don't have results, and a lot just had his worst season he's ever had. But the Bricks have had great results, and a lot is playing well. So I don't mind this move whatsoever. I think it's a good move for the Bricks. It seems like they have some good chemistry. They had a top 4 finish at DreamHack. Makes perfect sense. So I don't mind this move at all for the Bricks. So very likely a lot is going to be their third, just because of the results they have had. So not too much drama there. Makes a lot of sense. They booted Mystic for a lot. And I would say that that's an upgrade as well, because a lot has been playing exceptionally well with Speed. So I like the move. Moving on to Complexity. Here's one of the first ones where, I don't think it was necessarily bad by anyone. There's going to be drama here, but it wasn't necessarily bad. Flakes is hey, Magnus, I think we should try out new thirds for Greasy, or I'm going to try out for new teams. Perfectly reasonable from Flakes. That's how all these scenarios begin, right? When you have a 2/3 rule, it's one player has to approach the other player and say, I want to kick the third player. Most of the time they agree. In this case, Magnus did not agree. He's no, I think we're doing well playing with Greasy. If you want to shop around, go ahead and shop around, but I think we're going to boot you just because you're trying to shop around, and we need a solid third who is here and wants to play on this team. Perfectly reasonable from both sides. It obviously didn't work out. Flakes is hey, man, I'm sorry. He holds up the boombox outside the window, and Magnus is Flakes, you are pretty damn good. And honestly, I think Complexity, if they didn't have Flakes, they would be in trouble, because Flakes is playing extremely well, personally. I think he's that X factor that Complexity needs. So they made up. They run out into the pouring rain. They make out for a little bit, and they're back together. So Complexity, same exact team for now. Who knows by roster lock? Who knows if Flakes gets approached by Barcelona and Ronniekey gets kicked somehow? Who knows? But for now, Complexity is the same exact team. Oh, man. So far, those 3 teams. TSM. Now, Remco, I don't know how he does it, man. I don't know how he does it. Now, on TSM, if they were going to make a roster move, I would say you go Remco or iIgnite. You could go either one there. Both of them not been playing all that well. Metsonoris is the only highlight on that team personally. And they snag Alpha. And then, so that's an interesting one for Alpha where do you play with Metsonoris and Remco or Bluey and Devo? You had really good results with Barcelona, and then you keep falling short in the quarterfinals of like World Championships and a couple Dream Hacks, yada yada. Now, it could be a thing. Now, I don't know how Alpha is and depends on his team, but Barcelona, they do a lot of extra stuff on that squad where they go to different events that are like show matches and stuff like that. Because like Barcelona is really trying for that media train of like, we're going to go to a lot of different places and events, and also that they're playing in Spain, except for Alpha because he's in school. So he might have felt like the odd man out anyway, but they have to do a lot of crap. And some players will probably love that, right? They're like, oh, this is so cool. Like I get to travel here and do a show match and it's a lot of fun, yada, yada. And I bet a lot of other players are like, you know what? I don't really want to do all that. I just want to play Rocket League at home and practice and get ready for the next season. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why we see Alpha leaving. Who knows? I have no idea. It may be some team chemistry issues or like off the field issues. Who knows? But he's going over to TSM, trying it out. Now, Remco. This will now be his 7th different roster in 8 seasons of the RLCS. And every single time the roster has revolved around him. I feel like he's like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones where somehow, some way, he thinks he will be on the throne by the end. And he's surviving. He's surviving. But I'm telling you right now, he needs to have a really solid season here. Because if TSM fails for Season 8, Remco is on the chopping block. If you have Metsonoris and Alpha playing well, and they still don't make it to the World Championship, I don't see how you don't replace Remco at this point. So Remco, a lot of pressure on him coming into the season. Felt like he could have been kicked this season, but he's still here. 7 different rosters in 8 seasons. And will he survive? Will he make it to the throne? We'll see. We'll see in Season 8. But definitely a lot of pressure on him to perform because I felt like he had a bad season. And teams, like every time with him, besides that one World Championship run, they've had some success here or there. But it's always been like a very poor shooting percentage team, or we see a dream hack where Shogun's like, it looks like Remco is just learning how to flip reset. And it's like, it seems like the mechanical ability of Remco is slowly slipping away compared to like some of these other players. But we'll see. We'll see if he can bounce back. A lot of pressure on him. He has to perform for TSM, or he could be the next one out going into Season 9. But we'll see. Anyway, Vitality, nothing going on here. Not too much here. Obviously, world champs, they're going to play together. Easy peasy. PSG, same thing. All they got to do is hop in that Fennec, hop in that Chaussette mobile, and just let Chaussette carry them to victory. Like the other two were playing well as well, but Chaussette was clearly the X factor when they were at DreamHack. It seems like those guys are relatively happy. So I don't expect a move from PSG or Vitality. PSG, I think there's probably a small chance if things go really crazy that something could happen, but probably not going to happen. Dignitas, Violent Panda, Yukio, and Astral. So they tried him out at DreamHack, and he had his ups and downs. I felt like right now we're seeing a lot of teams in Europe, at least, or like I guess in general, have that X factor player where we see like Flakes, we see Chaussette, we see Justin. Astral could be that player, but he's got to learn a little bit more on the defensive side and just has to figure out a couple things. So I wasn't sure outside of DreamHack like if Dignitas would pick him up, but this season, to me, a lot of pressure on Violent Panda where we always talked about, oh, what a great captain, what a great leader for Dignitas. It's 2 seasons in a row now that 2 of the best players in the world have left Violent Panda. So, like, K-Dop left on his own. Turbo, you could say it was sort of a kick and sort of a leave situation, but at this point, like, Violent Panda, like, you have to show your leadership aspects where some of the best players in the world don't want to team with you anymore. And now you bring in 2 younger stars. Like Yukio is more of a veteran now, like at this point, but Astral, a brand new, younger player. We'll see how he does. We'll see if that pickup is warranted. But Dignitas, I think a lot of pressure on Violent Panda to redeem himself, right? From being on the greatest team ever to now having players leave him 2 seasons in a row. Now he's got to rebuild and see like if he can bounce back. And then Barcelona, we talked about them a bit. Ronniekey moves over. It's a fine move for Ronniekey. I just don't think this team is going to do as well with Ronniekey compared to Alpha. Like, I think they are probably on the chopping block-ish. We haven't really seen them play yet, so who knows how that's going to be. But I feel like if we're looking at bottom 2 potential right now, I'd probably say Veloce, Dig, and Barcelona. Depends how Complexity bounces back from their drama, but I think they'll be okay. The Bricks playing pretty well, so I think they're a playoff team. So I think those 3 are probably the ones I think right now at least have the best chance to finish bottom 2, but who knows, man. One bad week in league play could result in disaster. But these are the results, or these are the roster moves so far. It's been wild. It's been a little bit crazy. So yeah, there you go. Roster move, City. It's been nuts. It's been nuts in Europe. It's been nuts in NA too. It's crazy. But we'll see when roster lock happens, whenever that is, what these rosters will be. But for the Europe side of things, that is it for this video. I guess we'll split between NA and Europe since I'm doing it on stream. I didn't want to. Like, I wanted it to be one big video, but here's what we're going to do. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time for the YouTubes. Say bye to YouTubes.